this is defense in a nutshell. Threes, but imagine
Number
sixes
one
right now.
Is that you are the last man back.
That both defensemen need to be last man back.
Number two is to prioritize holding the blue line.
Now, that's more or less a give or take. That depends on how the players skating down, especially in this game.
How to defend a one-on-one.
One-on-one, there's all kinds of one-on-ones happening in sixes, because it's literally when you mark a man, you're on him one-on-one.
As well as two-on-ones.
Two-on-ones happen when center's caught up. You're straddling either the center and the winger. Happens here too.
Number four is controlling the breakout.
Controlling the breakout. Exactly what you do in sixes as well. The defenseman should be the one controlling the breakout. They should never feel the need to force it up to the center for him to break out the puck, or anybody else.
For your team. To start out, positionally, being the last man back signifies that you are aware of everyone on the ice at all times. You make sure no one gets behind you for a breakaway. You play safe and rarely take chances to keep the play alive. For the first period of every game, you play as safe as you can and look for ways to exploit your opponents in the future. Ask yourself, how do they get open? How do they control the puck? Do they break the puck out the same way repeatedly? Look for ways to damage them and predict what they will do next. Then, when the second period starts, boom! This is where fun begins. You adapt to their play style.
It's actually exactly how it needs to be. There's no need to be super aggressive at first. Playing this way is exactly how you want. Once you notice that they keep breaking the puck out the same way.
But how do they control the puck? Do they break the puck out the... Then, when the second period...
Then, when you start seeing that they're making the same pass, then you can jump the route. But you shouldn't be jumping routes in the first period, I don't think. Unless you see that that's the main intensity. I put answer 23. I definitely did my thing. You know, Johnson doing his thing. You know what I mean?
You adapt to their play style and force them to change.
And there it is again.
That's the ideal scenario and mindset that you should have every game, regardless if you're playing D or forward. You will become a more well-rounded player if you learn to analyze everything that's happening around you.
There it is again.
And make changes throughout. While being the last man back, you need to make it difficult for your opponents to enter your zone by...
See, that you almost can't even do. What I just did right there.
Back, you need to make it difficult for your opponents to enter.
Sometimes, but a lot of times you'll poke and the guy will get it right back. He'll just get it, bang. And then now he's around. So you got to be very careful with how you hold blue line. Last year, you could hold blue line very easily. And you could do it almost every play. Especially since you could play super tight on them and just skate with them, holding your stick out, beating them because you're faster than them.
Effectively holding the blue line.
This year, you got to be a little bit less aggressive, more passive.
Shadow your opponents while maintaining inside leverage.
But it's the same deal.
And wait for an opportunity to strike as they attempt to cross the blue line. Be mindful, though. You should be holding the blue line as much as you can, but you don't want to
overextend. Flat-footed. Poke checking to get it right back. They're super fast. You don't have enough speed to make a safe poke check while maintaining inside leverage, and now I'm beat here for the shot.
Basically, are playing what I call passive aggressive. While you need to be
poke check, get it. Because here's the deal: you want to make a poke check when you can still stay inside. So I poke check here. If he were to get it right back, I'm still inside. You know, we showcased that with a couple of the plays in our games, right?
Well, you need to be aggressive.
It's the exact same thing.
You need to be able to...
Like, I don't need to make a separate defensive guide video for sixes because it's the exact same freaking thing. You just need to look at it as, okay, there's two more guys out there.
Or it does hit, but the puck
yeah, see, that right there happens a lot. It still happened in 22. You see that?
Tips into an area where your man can still...
But that's being too aggressive. Right here is being too aggressive when he's at top speed and I'm not. Because he's at top speed, me making a poke check here is not really going to stop the puck and force it over here. It's going to be him grabbing this puck right back. But this happens every time in Eashl 23.
Still retrieve it and proceed into the zone. This goes sometimes.
So here we go, stopping at blue line, right?
To an area where your man can still retrieve it.
And that's just seeing, hey, this guy's going to get the puck. So you want him to meet you at the blue line. A lot of us would be back here. And now this guy gets it. Now he's utilizing the open ice over there.
From the game, because at times your poke check can launch the puck to center ice, while other times barely move at all, and the player just picks it right back up like nothing happened. You can also try throwing
That
a
happens
hit in
every
there
game.
as well if you feel like you have the right angle
So
and won't miss.
hits along the boards.
The issue with hits
See, yeah, look, poke check while back checking.
as well.
You can't even really do that though in this game anymore, really.
Miss.
Poke check, back skate, back skate, back skate, back skate, back skate, then like body check, which I don't even think you can do really, but
play because if
you could still like we gotta learn how to poke check while back skating, while not turning our shoulders, poke checking while we're just still back skating.
You won't recover.
I've kind of gotten away from doing it a little bit as well.
This year with truculence, it makes it
but when I'm on my game playing defense, like it's not an issue at all.
Miss, and I believe it to be overpowered and should be nerfed. But it
That
has
was
seen players miss with truculence, so it's not guaranteed that you will hit every player when you pursue them. So be mindful.
So this is where now they're in the one-on-one with puck is what I call this chapter. This is everything to deal with when you're one-on-one with your with the puck carrier, and that's exactly, you know, sixes.
You should be picking out your man in the.
They get the puck here, shadow.
Whether it be you pursuing the puck carrier or shadowing his teammate across.
Shadow.
By the time your opponents cross the blue line,
marking the man mark, man. We're already beat there.
Man to cover. In threes, the defense is man-to-man coverage. Wherever your man goes, you go.
So this is easy, right? This is simple hockey, but this is no different than a center on a center, winger or defenseman on winger, and defenseman on winger. This is exactly what it is. You just add 2-point guys. This is exactly what it is. Threes mapped over in sixes when it comes to D. This is what stays consistent. Now you would want him to play tighter here because this 1T look bang.
Coverage is the same as before. While
but look,
in the blue
there's no need to make a play here. Like there's no need to.
You go.
There's no need for me to force me to hit this guy.
The coverage.
If anything, I could have still like shadow.
Blue line, inside leverage and back. I would say about poke checking length away. It takes skill to be able to stay with your man. If your man has the puck, keep him to the perimeter and don't
keep it to the perimeter. Keep it to the perimeter. There's no need to force a play.
And just
keep it, and then he makes the mistake. He makes the mistake because
if your man has
you don't like
puck,
he could drive this. He could drive to the net here, and all I got to do is shadow him.
To the perimeter,
and then just poke check when he decides to cut in. When they decide to cut in is when you have the opportunity to strike. If he's gonna keep it along the outside, there's no need for you to make the play happen. Because again, you got to trust your teammates are in good coverage with what they're doing. If they're out of position, then you're going to feel the incentive to force the play early because you have a fear that he's going to get rid of it sooner to a guy wide open in the slot or at the point or something like that. But here's the deal. If you are the one that gets beat while somebody's cutting in, or not even really cutting in, he's, you know, along the boards, and you go and try to pursue him, and you get beat. Now you leave your teammates in the dust. So that's where the trust comes in. Everybody does their own part.
Don't let him inside.
But this is, I mean, this is defense
shadow him. Wherever he goes,
in his hole.
Go.
Entirely.
No need to be really aggressive here as long as he doesn't have a good angle for a shot.
There's no need for me to force anything here. I don't have to. Now I could technically throw a poke out if I was closer, but since I'm so far away, I don't need to really inch closer yet. There's nothing. There's no play here. Now, yeah, this guy could cut in and do that, which technically had it, but I was actually in the lane. Well, like, that's the thing.
There's no need to be really aggressive here.
Like, I'm playing like that because I have to now pursue him. I can inch closer. Inch. Right here, I could have played it. It's not like, okay, you got to play so far back. You just got to shot him there. You can inch closer and try to get him to commit to something. You're still inside, but as you inch closer, now you close the gap, which closes up the amount of time he has to make a play before you pursue him. But if you pursue him and miss, now you just compromise inside leverage.
Tries to make
keeping inside leverage, keeping good gap control.
You want him to make the first move. While shadowing him, you look for ways to take the puck away. If you can hit him and believe you won't miss,
and hits usually go with the boards. You don't want to do an open ice hit
with enough power, then do so. If not, then poke checking is always effective.
See again, inch
or
inching my way close.
Then do so. If not, then poke check.
Inching my way close, although this year I feel like he could make one cut to the middle and I'm beat, right? So this year, doing that poke check doesn't necessarily work, especially if you got somebody who knows how to just pull it one time.
Even stick lifting can work if you're close.
Oh, you can't do that this year, can you?
Knowing how to poke check and stick lift is another skill gap. Never try poke checking or stick lifting while behind your opponent because you will get a penalty. Poke checking while in front but too close to your man will result in a penalty as well. Most ideal way.
I mean, this is perfect for anybody learning how to play defense. I mean, this is defense in its whole right now.
Stick to be hitting his stick, and not his legs ever. And that's what 22.
I can't believe how much detail I put into this.
The legs of your opponents from certain angles, but can still grant you a penalty.
Because this is it translates right to sixes, bro.
All the players who played religiously the past few years understand how easy it is to get a tripping penalty by simply tapping your opponent's foot or leg. So we've been conditioned to be as precise as we can while defending. Another thing to note is if you decide to go for a hit, is to understand who you are and who you are trying to hit. Don't try hitting a power forward with unstoppable force as a puck-moving defenseman with no ability to hit. Before you even play the game, you should be comparing who you are playing against to what you are running. What classes are they using? If there's two big players on their team, then you should play big as well so you can match them. There's no point being the quick puck-moving defenseman if you're playing against two power forwards, right? If you don't know what builds to use, stay tuned as I will talk more about classes at the end of this video. When you're covering a player without the puck and staying between him and the
now,
puck,
second section, one-on-one is without puck. Now, this is what everybody else has to do.
Is where you need to be. Again, inside.
Man, I really went all out with that.
Away, but not always. You do have more freedom when you're.
So now this is what, you know, man-to-man, gap control, covering without puck. He keeps him to the perimeter. You keep him, you know, you stay inside him. Stay inside him.
Covering your man.
He's got nothing he can do. Like, what's he gonna do here? If he makes a pass down low, then you just rotate, reposition. There's no need to be so aggressive. And honestly, I've kind of lost touch of it a little bit.
To the slot.
I feel exactly what you guys feel sometimes too. You feel the need.
Should be determined by how close your man is.
You feel the need to rush it when you don't need to.
More space when covering the point. It should be more point blank on the.
Yeah. So here, okay.
More space
so this is where
the point should be determined by how close your man is.
This is where gap control comes into play.
Your distance away should be determined by how close your man is to the net. You could have more space when covering the point.
So wingers, this is where wingers, like, they don't have to play super tight because all they have to do is make one cut here. If you're right here, now you just gave up inside leverage, right? The closer they are to the net, though, you want to stay point blank on it. Like, this is perfect here. He takes a shot, could get blocked, or if you can anticipate that you can jump the route or something like that, or poke check before he gets it or something like that, then you can do so. But in terms of coverage, you don't need to be so tight on him if he's at the point. Because, again, if you're on him and he makes one cut, gave up inside leverage. But that wouldn't be an issue.
Point blank on the guy if he's riding back post.
Yeah. You see, you play super tight here because he's already in front of the net. What's he going to do? If he moves out, now he's moving away from the net. Now you can reestablish inside leverage very easily.
Your job is to stop him from receiving a pass. When the pass comes, the ideal position is inside leverage. Two hands on your stick. That's
literally, I'm going over the exact same checklist I did at the end of the game, didn't I?
And your blade should be to your man.
Oh, that's another thing too. Blade on blade, stick on stick, right? Well, I think, yeah, that's what it was. Inside leverage, stick on stick. Maybe that's what I didn't have, right?
Or he is going to receive the pass.
That's the only thing I didn't have then. Stick on stick.
Then you have done everything you
could. Stick on stick. Inside leverage. Square to the puck. Two hands on stick.
A lot of players miss this because they don't fully understand it. They blame the game when it is
like what I did.
Their fault it went through. Before you blame the game, make sure everything is checked off like a checklist. I played
even still though, that's happened the majority of times, bro.
Went through. Players will sometimes be in a turn animation, so their player won't be looking at the puck, so therefore they don't go for it. Also, when turning, your stick is usually in the air, which signifies that your player is not set.
So what's the problem here? not square. He's inside, but he's not stick on stick. So blade on blade is what I mean. His blade's all the way out here. This guy's right here.
They're just examples, but there are many more.
He's not square of the puck. He's got 2 hands on the stick and he's inside, but that's not, you know, everything else isn't checked off either. It doesn't work.
Part from the checklist. If everything is checked off and the pass still went through, then you can say the game screwed you. The game does have problems. There are other tricks that through. Then you can.
Well, that was a bounce.
The game does have problems.
You guys can see, like, oh, you guys can.
So other tricks that you can try that are effective as well while defending the cross crease. Instead of trying to intercept, you can stick lift or tie your man up in the.
This is perfect D right here.
The cross crease.
I mean,
instead of trying to intercept,
exactly what Nick's doing is exactly what needs to be done. Shadow, shadow, shadow. Tries to poke check when a guy cuts in. You know, if we're playing tighter here, like Bobby can play where he needs to be. He makes a pass. There's nothing there. You know, it just depends on how close they are to the net.
Or as the pass is going across.
But 6 is just the same deal, man. It doesn't matter. You add 2 wingers at the point. Everything down low here, like it's like a center, or it's like a center, winger, and a defenseman. But then if he were to jump down, then it's no different than if it was 2 wingers and a centerman, like in 6s. They're still making a triangle like you would do with the 3 forwards and 6s.
In front of them, or sometimes
it's just the guys at the point are just at the point. You just add a winger there. Just add a winger here.
From the side, you can briefly halt your man for about a second, which can disrupt.
And that's exactly what you can still do this year.
And make it tougher for him to set himself up for a pass. You could try this.
And that just stops him for 1 second.
Time staying with him, or just
now you can't do that in 6s outside the slot. I think this is like a 50-50. For some reason, it shouldn't be, but it is. Anywhere in here usually is a penalty.
Simply want to stop.
So you can only do that when it's like
some
tips
teams with
in
lots
front.
Of chemistry typically have set plays for when a pass.
That just stops him. Now he can't move. It disrupts the timing for a second. And now he can't make a play.
Recognize the timing for passes will help you stop the play by tying your man up. Another thing is stick lifting your man as the pass is going.
You definitely can't do that this year anymore. Holy, I remember last year I did that all the time.
Stop your man from shooting at all.
I would do that all the time. See, look, stick lift there. If he were to make this pass, he couldn't 1-tee it because it sticks in the air. You can't do that this year. It's an instant call. I had probably 7 penalties the first drop in I ever played in NHL 23 because I was doing that. And then I would try to stick lift in other areas too.
Is in the air.
But nobody does this move like I do.
More of a feel and require experience. Just
did
anything else. Because
stick lift, if they were to force this pass, he couldn't do it unless the stick's back down on the ice. I mean, that's how you get him in motion. But you can't do that this year, so that's one tool that's now eliminated from the game. And then when you got guys moving and you can't tie them up in an animation, they get a deflection. That's the problem. I would utilize that technique when they're moving. So when the pass comes and their stick's in the air, they can't deflect.
On the risk of getting a penalty.
Can't do that this year anymore.
Position or just miss entirely.
Bang. And that's right there where I time it as you would predict a pass to be thrown. And now that's not there anymore.
This is just not stick lifting unless you feel you will miss the intercept.
Yeah.
All that was
one-on-ones.
Your man in a one-on-one.
Now you got 2-on-ones
or without the puck.
But 2-on-ones is its own skill gap, and honestly, you shouldn't have that in 3s or in the 6s. I mean, you know, I have this on the link of every single video. I've got an ultimate teal guide video. It's right here. Every single video has got this link in the description down below. I also have a team defense guide for where everybody needs to be in. Well, that's just 3s, right? But this is for everything a defenseman has to have.